And welcome to the July edition of the Tough Love Arena State of the Game stream, where you come to learn all things Tough Love Arena. I am Paul, your host, the co-creator of Tough Love Arena, and we're going to talk about the game. What's been going on? What's coming up? All things hand-wavy. Welcome back. So, Kenny Rose says, chat is moving so fast no one will see that I'm gay. Now it's going to be in the YouTube video. Moving on. Let's talk about what happened last month. What went on in June? A handful of big things. So we added the new stage apartment. That was like right after last state of the game. We put in a smallish balance patch to swat and swipe and throw recoveries in general. This was a long time coming for me. Migrating the rest of our servers off AWS. Now all of our stateful servers like matchmaking, handshake, lobbies are all in Linode, which is a lot cheaper. Consolidated offsite information. This was a big one for me personally. Now everything is in about.tla, about.toughlovearena.com. And if you try to go to any of these URLs, like any of the old tweets that pointed to one of these, it will just automatically redirect to the correct page in the about. So very pleased with that. And probably the most important thing I did last month is this massive improvement to performance. I finally found a way to cut out this this like buffer that was always there, this minimum 4.5 milliseconds that was added to every frame. And now with that gone, that gives us so much more leeway on weaker devices. So it took like 2 weeks of iterating and testing, had a lot of back and forth, talked to some peers, talked to other programmers, trying to like brainstorm the best tactics, because this is in the browser. A lot of this is very hacky. I'm trying to, the 4.5 milliseconds is sort of like a security feature that I'm trying to get around, but we got to a pretty good place, according to my benchmarkers, and according to just my anecdotal experience of getting the game to run better on like my Raspberry Pi. So super happy with that. I didn't even think it was possible, and then I suddenly had an idea and I ran with it for 2 weeks. So that's a big win for me. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. There we go. Nicely done, Paul. And then lastly, another lot of like long time coming. That's the theme of last month, I suppose. The jump hitboxes were always sort of unnecessarily large. It created weird trade situations. It limited my ability to raise hitboxes for juggles, so I wanted to make like trample sufficiently high so it was easy to juggle into, but then it was like trading with jump-ins. So I just made jump-ins smaller hurt boxes, so you need to, this is jump hurt boxes, it should be, that's a typo. That gives me more leeway as a designer, and it just also looks more correct. So all in all, a pretty productive month. Given how busy I was with life stuff, some of these are huge wins for me. The monthly survey, I forgot. We just didn't have one for the first time in like a year, because the day I was supposed to send it out, I was on a plane, and I forgot. So, no harm, no foul. I have every intention of having it returned next month. Everyone just got 1 month off. Them's the breaks, as they say. Let's talk about the present. What projects do we have in the oven right now? So, this is the big one. This is the big one that I was alluding to and teasing people. The thing that will change TLA forever. We are adding a 4th button. I will pause for applause. There, now stream chat's starting to show up. So, quick laundry list of the changes. This isn't comprehensive, but it is a 4th dedicated button. It is the throw button. Proximity throw is completely removed. 6H is just 6H. Walking forward is throwable again. that is no longer a way to get out of throws. We are sticking with, we still don't have throw techs, and we're still sticking with like attacks beat throws, but walking forward is no longer an answer because I thought it always looked very confusing and bad. But why was it in there? Well, we added it at some point because doing meaty throws with caber toss was too strong. And here, now that throw is a button, now everyone can do meaty throws. So this is going to be a huge problem. So to compensate, we've done what a lot of older fighting games used to do, basically before teching was kind of invented, and just added a brief invulnerability window. So if you have every intention of, oh, I'm about to land into a pork reset, or I'm about to get off the ground, or, you know, I just blocked a jump in, and I think they're going to go for a throw, now you just have a little bit more leeway to get that frame one attack to come out and give you startup invulnerability before the throw makes contact. And as a bonus, now that we have this additional button that is just, you know, every direction is just throw, it is now also going to become the meter button, which I'm also very excited about. Burst was never really an issue because you can't do anything else when you're in hit stun, but reject always had the issue of overlapping with other buttons in weird ways. Rapid, let me show you like the two reasons why I really did this. This all got started when I was at Combo Breaker. So this is like 2 months ago, month and a half ago. We were at Combo Breaker and we were watching people play the game, and it was the same thing at PAX a month before, but it really crystallized in my mind when we got to Combo Breaker. This issue. Let me set the controls. We'll set that over here for now, and okay. So, problems with our old throw system. Problem number one. Someone would be walking towards, and they're just thinking, I want to apply punch pressure. And they would accidentally go for a throw. Sometimes too early. They'd like do a jump in and then try and go for a throw or something. Or the opponent would do something and it just wouldn't work. And they'd be confused. A lot of players actually didn't even realize there was a throw, even though we had it printed out in our nice little instructional sheet. It was like a surprise to them. It took explaining. And then having it come out felt very inconsistent for people who were new. Walking forward was also very strange because you could be throwing, and if they're just walking into you endlessly, the throw is phasing through them. That just looks like a bug. That just looks like something wrong. And lastly, this was a personal one that was really peeving me. We would tell people, like, hey, easy bake pork combo is, you know, do the uppercut and then launch. Right? Just do the uppercut and then launch. And so people would do the uppercut, and then they'd be mashing forward jump, and they would get, they would get this. And unnecessarily spend their meter. When, oh, it's no, you have to wait to do it. Because jump is the same as rapid, and isn't that a shame? And this also made even outside of jump, this made other cancels, like, weird, and modders would definitely know this. That, like, oh, if you wanted your thing to cancel differently based on which special direction you did, well, you got to be careful with forward special, because what if you have 50 meter? Oh, I guess that move just can't have a rapid option. It was limiting. It was very constrictive. Now it's just a dedicated button. Everyone's out here whiffing throws. So those are still beatable by attacks. So I'm gonna do that. Yep. Even though the throw is faster, it doesn't connect. All that kind of stuff. Throwing as like a punish should feel a little bit more consistent because you don't have to worry about, like, you know, did I hold forward enough? Oops. I'm still getting used to the buttons, to be honest. It's just a throw now. It's just a throw. And the good news for modders is, yes, this is a smaller change. I didn't document it, but part of what's going on in here is I'm adding to every character's top level character config. Quick little tangent for the modders. We have stuff where you define like their stats, like their walk speed, and what are their inputs when standing, when at rest. Now you will also be able to define their commands. You can set for your modded characters what buttons create all of the main generic actions: throw, rapid, burst, and reject. So for all the existing characters, and when I do the mod upgrade, these will go to the defaults. Throw is equal to 4S, 5S, 6S. Rapid will be, this is D. D is the fourth button. So that will be 4D, 5D, 6D. Rapid will be 6D. Burst will be 4D. Reject will be 6D. But you can remap these. You can use D for whatever you want. T. I keep saying, yeah, it's D in the code, but in the nomenclature, we're going to call it T. We have the same issue with the other things. It's just how the code works. If you don't mod, don't worry about it. But yeah, you have more leeway if you want to mess with this, and you basically now have an additional button to play with if you want. But proximity throw is completely dead. So you cannot leverage that or still use it as like an overlap with other things. I am just purging all the code that would even check proximity, know anything about proximity, all that stuff. So yeah, we have a working version. We've been getting good feedback and testing from our Patreon supporters. It's still probably like a week away because I need to update the tutorials and fix a couple remaining little bugs. I wouldn't say invalidate table, no. It'll get upgraded like all the other ones. Modded characters will simply be backported, and their T button will just do the universal stuff like everyone else. Yeah, no table race. It'll just change it to, don't worry, I got you covered. So yeah, very excited about that. It's been in the burner for like a month and a half. Finally had time to get to it and work a bunch on it, and I'm very excited. My goal was to have this out before EVO, and we're very comfortably going to make that goal now. So, second thing, Rice nerfs. Rice has been a little dominant lately, and it's not just because Table is a godlike player. And my philosophy, I don't want to punish people for being good at the game. So I have actually been talking to Table and a lot of the other top players to make sure this feels fair. I'm not trying to kill the character. But there are some small changes I want to make. So some of them are just essentially long-running oversights related to DACs, delayed attack cancels. Just dialing some of that in, honestly standardizing it. When I went and looked very closely at like slap and whip, they had some weird numbers in there for like active frames and cancel windows. So I'm just tightening them to match the other characters, basically match the other characters who had more active work on their normals. And for Rice in particular, SWAT is getting a sort of buff and nerf. The top change, yes, these will affect Noodle. That's why it says universal card changes. I don't expect this to majorly nerf Noodle. If you love to do the like whip twice and then yellow frenzy, like that will be weaker. But it shouldn't affect Noodle's game plan. The Rice changes, however, which are more impactful, I am reverting the change I made a couple months ago of whip back, where anytime after SWAT you could choose to cross up and knock down. That was a mistake. I will admit my mistake. We had this nice... We already had this nice system of, do you want the hard knockdown of whip splash, or do you want the, more damage but worse Oki of SWAT? And then I just threw that out, and yeah, sure enough, no one did the normal combo anymore. Everyone would do the SWAT for the damage. And it just meant that Rice was always, the best path was always to get a knockdown, and always to get, pretty good damage. And a cross-up, which made it very hard to corner Rice, because they would just need one hit, and then their B&B got them out of the corner, and potentially re-cornered you. So it's just a revert. We're going back to the way it was, and I don't think we're doing a super big damage buff, but basically we nerfed the damage on SWAT when we added Whip back, and now I'm turning it back. So SWAT is still strong. Rice will still have strong SWAT loops, but now you are back to making a choice of, do I want the extra damage or do I want the Oki? And then the other thing that I'm very excited about is the changes to swipe. So we'll demo those real quick. Go to train, skip one, P1 rise. So this I realized was my fundamental issue with swipe. Swipe is important. Swipe is like one of Rice's most defining moves, and it is what helped move Rice from being the strictly worst noodle to, you know, top 3 in the game for like the last year. Because, you know, you have alternative move to whip, you can RC it for stuff, you can, it does chip, right? All this good stuff. But I realized one of the things that made the swipe zoning so oppressive was its frame advantage. Now, if you block swipe, it is, you know, -9. This was tweaked to be a little bit more minus in the most recent patch, so done up close, you could always, you know, like punish it with a sweep or something. But the problem is that swipe was also like +7, because I wanted to give Rice some combo variety. I can't show this actually here. I need to go to here. Go to train, skip character. Okay. Crumb says Rice isn't strong. I lost a tournament as Rice. You know, to Rice. So. Or do I not have that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, this is fine. We're just gonna... We're getting there. We're getting there. No, it does not, Grum. I'm sorry. Okay. So, full screen. SWAT right now is +7 on hit. And this was intentional so that Rice could have like a little bit of combo variety up close, right? You could do boop, 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 boop. They get a meaningful confirm off of like a close SWAT punish. You know, Pork does like a chop, you go boo, 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 do, 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 combos, right? That's fun. I liked adding that. However, in order to make that work, this needs to be +7 so that it can link into Slap. Well, if this is +7, then if I happen to just randomly tag you with this from, you know, zoning range, now you have to eat a half-screen frame trap, right? And I really don't think that's necessary. Whip, for example, is 0 on hit. However, so this was my... So how do I fix that? I still like having the combo up close, but I don't like the fact that a random SWAT hit, you know, really slows down the progress of coming in. So, my fix is that SWAT now hits twice. Specifically, it has the normal far zoning hitbox, that one. That one is still -9 on block, but now on hit it's -2. So even if you get tagged by a random hit, you can still keep advancing. But then it has this second hit that's much shorter range, exact hitbox TBD. And this is the one that's plus on hit. So when you're zoning, now Pork, you know, doesn't get too harassed and can, you know, still walk in. But up close, now you get the second hit, which still allows you to do a combo. Like that. Yes, and for people alarmed by the size of this hitbox, another part of this patch is it doesn't hit airborne anymore. So if it doesn't hit airborne, then we just make the box big because it makes the hit spark land in the correct place. If you didn't know, the hit sparks are based on the center of whatever the hitbox is. So you'll notice this first hit spark is nice in the center of Pork, but the second one, because it's low and down, hits down here, right? And neither of these hit airborne. Also, Taylor Rice, I see your paragraph. I will come back to that during the Q&A, if you don't mind reposting it then. So these are the current Rice changes. They are still very whip. And the fourth button comes first. That's more urgent because then we have to produce like a new informational guides and all this other stuff. And I gotta order new controllers because all the ones I bought for taking TLA on the road only have 3 buttons. So I need to buy 4-button controllers. So priority number 1 is throw button. But once we get that out the door, and I will be back to Rice Nerfs, which are already like mostly complete. I just need to do a little bit more fine-tuning. And lastly, the one other bun I have in the oven. Oh my god, we have to redo all... I mean, you know this, Amy. All the guides forever. That's okay, that's why I pay for the printing. So, the last thing we still have in progress... if you didn't notice the trend, these are getting increasingly older. But I keep having, like, you know, better ideas that I need to get out the door first. But jump cancels. I'm still working on jump cancels. However, I had a big epiphany about 3 weeks ago. Right after the last day of the game where I said, yeah, jump cancels are almost done. We almost got this out the door. I did more playtesting. And I didn't like that a lot of them were basically these really strong mix-ups. So these are my new criteria for jump cancels. Jump cancels must complement but not overshadow the normal jump attack. It should be, you know, an additional option, but it shouldn't be strictly better than just jumping. Jump attack should have a purpose. You should still jump, and most of the time expect your opponent to be doing a jump attack. 2, it must still be easy to anti-air. I don't want... I already like that the anti-airing is pretty easy in this game, with some very, you know, very forgiving light attacks or, you know, the meat jump attack. And I still want those options to be good against this jump cancel. 3, it must be usable in neutral or pressure and not just combo filler. I had a couple that were basically just combo filler, and they might as well not exist. Like, then they're not interesting as a jump cancel because it's not really a decision at that point. If you're not in the combo, you do a jump. If you are in the combo, you do the jump cancel, right? So, that's a no-go. That's a non-starter. 4, it must be unique for each character. This is why I got rid of the Onion Fastfall, because it overlapped too much with Pork's Empty Jump, and I want them all to feel like a unique move that plays to the character's strengths. And 5, it must not increase the mental stack too much. This is somewhat tied to being easy to anti-air, but this was the issue with the Garlic proposal that would full screen sneak in front of you, and it was just, this was another thing you now needed to look for Garlic doing full screen. Like, maybe you can focus on reacting to dash, and like, okay, that if I see a dash, I have to be ready to hit sneak. But if they could also like jump and turn that into something, it's mental stack. It's a lot to ask of a player. And so yeah, what do you know? Most of my original designs broke one of these rules, had an issue in one of these rules. So I've been redesigning a bunch of them. And right now, beef, pork, and onion are in a very good place. I think that they follow all the rules, they provide a niche value, and they basically play correct. I just need to tweak some of the movement. It looks kind of janky right now. So I've been working with Amy to try and figure out how to make that look more smooth, look better, because it's a different timing. Rice and Garlic have promising ideas, but they're still more in the draft stage. I haven't really gone in and balanced them yet and figured out if they're really, you know, any good or too bad. And Noodle, I'm back at square one. I tried to make Helicopter work for the longest time. It worked as combo filler just fine, but, you know, it was basically so strong that it's, you know, it's just filler. You just always do it. And in neutral, people who are in the Canary testing can attest to this. It was really hard to design a helicopter that would be usable in neutral that didn't have issues with basically stalling. Helicopter is probably out. So these will come after Rice, after Throw. I'm very confident that we will get Throw and Rice done by next month. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't finish jump cancels. But just know they are still in the works, and I'm still very excited to add them. Now let's talk about the future. So, TLA will be at EVO. We still don't know all of the details. But at this point, it's pretty... We'll be there in some capacity. Whether they want us to be there or not. We will be there. We bought the plane tickets. So, that is the first weekend of August. I presume everyone in chat knows what EVO is, but anyone watching the YouTube VOD, EVO is the premier fighting game championship series in the world. The biggest FGC tournament, basically. So we will be there, and we will be selling buttons and soap, and have a little setup with our laptops if you want to come play and meet the developers. And there's lots of other stuff to do at EVO. So if you're in the area, or if you want to make the trip, can't go wrong with that. Also, PAX, we are confirmed to be at PAX West. So far, this is looking like it's probably just going to be me, no Amy. We will keep people posted on that. But at least one of us will definitely be going. We got everything booked. No worries, Amy. No need to apologize. We got everything booked. We got a 10x10 booth again. And if you're local, please hit us up. Please come out. We are looking to have maybe some helping hands. PAX is a larger venue. It would help to have some people around for setup and everything. So if you're local, please let me know. And PAX is a 4-day event. So because it's actually on, oh God, what is that weekend day? There's a holiday that Monday, September 5th. So the con is actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So come out. It'll be fun. And these will probably almost certainly be our last 2 events for the year. Just to be clear, through a combination of travel fatigue and not a lot of good stuff on the calendar, we're almost certainly not doing anything October, November, or December. Labor Day. Thank you, Grum. I've added both of these to the About page, so if you want to double check this later, or if you forget what was the name of that, big fighting game tournament, they are in the events now, under offline, with the exact dates. And lastly, my sort of July to do. It's a short month because we had to skip a week due to me being out of town. But basically, as I just said, finishing Throw Button, finishing Rice Balance Patch, and maybe finishing Jump Cancels. And that's on top of getting ready for EVO. So that will keep me plenty busy. And all this stuff has been getting a lot of playtest feedback from people in our Patreon. If you join the Patreon, you gain access to a secret Discord channel where we just, talk and post screenshots and videos and stuff. So we're more than happy to have you if you want to take a gander, get a sneak peek, and get very confused as you keep flip-flopping back before different versions of the game. And that's it. That's the state of the game. I will start reading questions now. So if you had any questions earlier and you want to, there you go, table, the copy paste, please post them now and I will start going through them. Camera view. Okay. Urgent Rocket said, same events next year too? Not sure. Combo Breaker was great. PAX East was great. We'll have to wait and see. I can probably safely say we won't do more than that. This has been a lot to juggle on top of both of us still having day jobs. I would love to do Combo Breaker again. I would presumably love to do EVO again, assuming everything goes well this year. And I like doing PAX East because it's so close. It's very convenient for us. But PAX West, like in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have booked. But, can't refund some of that stuff now. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe next year I pass on that and try and find another thing to do in New York or in Boston or even like in the Southeast. We'll see. No promises. We'll play this all by ear. Table Rice. 1. Slap Nerf also really hurts cards anti-airs as well as in neutral because they have less range on anti-airs. This especially affects Rice, and SWAT no longer has the armor. That is true. I don't disagree with that. 2, swipe nerf also removes the juggle after 5L. That is a cool skill expression damage optimization thing. Yes, I know. I did know that. I was trying to see if there was a way I could sort of salvage that. But if you could juggle with that, it made the second hit kind of weird. So to just... And I still had an issue with people getting tagged by it. So, when they were trying to jump. So, that was a calculated loss. And also, holy shit, +9 SWAT. -2 swipe. God, imagine if I can now make swipe plus when meaty. Ooh, exactly. Hopefully still some fun stuff to work with there. Grum asks, Paul, my question is, do you remember the best way to distract a developer and derail them from their stream agenda? I mean, I know you've done some stuff in the past, Grum, that worked really well. I think I chose not to remember it. Probably getting me to talk about old fighting games or cereal. But I won't fall for it this time. Kenny asks, can you call it the tough button? That's not a bad idea. Ooh. Because I was thinking about... I was going to call it the love button, but we already have an L. And I don't want to make all old documentation about the game completely unreadable. And Light is already a good name. So we couldn't go with L. Tough isn't bad. I'll think about it. Kenny says throw button sounds unintuitive. There's precedent in other games. I think it's not as flavorful as the other ones, but it's very clear what it does. It does the throw. Esid asks, can we get another sound effect for double perfect? Oh my gosh. I will keep that in mind if and when we ever do another recording session. Grum, thank you for the 5 community gift subs. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Snadroman asks, can I see Onion's jump cancel? Sure. I'll start pulling that up, but it'll take a minute. I gotta switch versions. Okay, good. Check out BP jump. Get pull. Build local. Okay. Whenever that comes up, we'll show it on stream. Took Knight says, my Xbox controller doesn't work on the Steam version of TLA. Is there any way to fix that? I just saw a bug report from Shiggy today that like no controllers are working on the Steam version. So I will just need to look into that. I can't give you a promise of a quick turnaround on that, but because the forward button is my #1 priority right now. Just getting that over the finish line. But I will look into that, and please feel free to put stuff like that in the Steam Bugs channel on Discord. That is the best place to put them, because when I have free time or when I'm between projects, I literally just go to the Bugs channel, and I start reading from the bottom up until I hit stuff that I know is done, and I just bang them out. So please put it there. And mention Took Night what operating system you're on, so I can try to test and reproduce it, because I do have Windows and Mac, and I do have an Xbox controller. Kenny Rose says, what's the thought process of Pork getting the fast fall and not Onion? Since Pork is the grappler, the idea of doing an empty jump into grab to me is a very classic fighting game tactic. Yes, Onion can do similarly strong things by just, empty jump into normal grab, but for Pork it just feels so much more in character. Snadgerman asks, does throw button default to semicolon or space? I haven't decided yet. Still figuring out what the default buttons are going to look like in a 4-button world. Also, what the placement should be like on mobile. That's one of the other things I need to iron out this week. Wilton says, will there be any online majors between now and PAX? Me and Amy were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I think we want to try and sneak something in the next, month or two. But it wouldn't have, custom skins. It would just be, it would be a major. We'd stream it. We'd give away, premium accounts, that kind of stuff. but don't have the sort of time and art budget for skins right now. We decided it would be more important to just finish Onion. So tentatively yes, but we'll see. I should be ready to show the jump cancels now, so let's pop on over here. Go to train. Pop open to full screen. So, yeah, quick refresher. For people who are curious, people have missed in the past. I'll just go through all of them real quick. These two I'm very confident with. The idea, execution still needs a little bit of finessing. But Beef gets an air lemon. You can do some snazzy stuff from really far away. But, you know, it's also very reactable. Why would you ever land that? The like meme combo is like this. Anyways, it's tight. So fun potential like there. As a jump in, it's essentially a side grade where it's slower, easier to anti-air, and gets counter hit out of. But it's higher damage, it avoids parries. A theme on a lot of these empty cancels is they totally blow up parries. So it's an indirect nerf to parries as anti-airs. Which I'm actually kind of happy about, but I'll talk about that more in the next state of the game. So side grade. Pork is empty jump, just, oh, there we go. Moving up, I keep forgetting, that's not the button anymore. Enter full screen, leave game. The next characters are Onion and Garlic. Onion normally has, we'll use the notebook. Onion's jump normally goes to here. So it hits like at the top of that little flower, right? If you can see my mouse. A little bit past. The alternate jump for Onion is that they slow down in midair and do a slightly longer range attack. Going to here. It is kind of similar to Beef. It has the downsides of being counter hit, slower, so it's easier to anti-air. But the advantage of slightly longer range, so it can make, you can at a very specific range use it to kind of space around a lot of anti-airs like that. But it is pretty tight. It is a small gap, and you know, you can only do it once. Once you're any closer, it's just way worse than jump. So if you can get them to stand around this area, you know, it has a purpose. Garlic's, tentatively, is this. So compared to the version that existed before where it would teleport to the opponent, it's relative to where you started the jump. It will not advance you forward. You cannot use this to cheat your way in. It is a sort of fake out against anti-airs, but again, in keeping the tradition, I don't want to punish like the really good ones. So, you know, light will probably recover in time. I'm still finessing what the frame data is going to be on here, but it can blow up certain anti-airs. And this is just a normal roundhouse, so you can choose to, you know, RC or do whatever. And lastly is Rice. I think Rice is animated. And the goal is that this will play in better with their kit after they're changed. I want to see if I can make this tie into the new SWAT being +9, but it is a dive kick. A little fast fall dive kick. And so I'm trying to find a sweet spot where, you know, it is like not advantageous enough on if hit up close, but if you can hit it, you know, sort of meaty or late, then you can get combos. And just to add a little tension, give Rush Down Rice a fun little tool. Just boop. But needs more testing. And that is the current state of jump cancels. All very work in progress. Back to Q&A. Kenny Rose asks, what are the goals of the Rice changes? Rice is still going to be, a good damage character. Rice is still going to be a zoner. However, I just want their zoning to be less oppressive. I want it to feel easier. You can still get messed up, but it can be easier to get in. This is part of the rationale of making swipe miss on air, so jumping is a scarier option, and part of the rationale of making getting hit by a random swipe less punishing. And they also, one of the main criticisms I got about Rice is, yes, okay, they're good at zoning, but also because of the recent change to when slap got made longer and more pushback, it was at the same time that Beef got the longer combos, that now Rice was also really good up close. And so a lot of the changes are meant to kind of address that. Make Rice less dominant up close. Make it so that if you can get into that range between, where sweep hits or where meat heavy hits, you actually have Rice at a disadvantage. Because slap will not reach, and whip and swipe are kind of slow. And that is where, a Beef, or where meat or spice can kind of bully Rice/Noodle. ICL says, obviously, a new engine version for mods, once that new button comes out, will be changed, right? Yeah. That's the other reason that they're far from ready. I need to do a lot of work behind the scenes to basically backport all the mods to use the new throw control scheme. And I also added a bunch of other stuff that'll be goodies for mods in terms of now you can change the throwable hurt box, some other fun stuff in there. Retro says the trample changes turn out to be a nerf rather than buff, since Noodle can't get a meaty trample as reliably during their combos. Would lowering the hitbox instead be in consideration to actually buff Noodle? I know what you're talking about. For something like that, I'm more eager to cater to the lowest common denominator. I want the hitbox to match the animation. I want the hitbox to be easy to juggle into. The old version did have some unintentional buffs, but I wasn't married to that. So I understand having affection for the cool little meaty setup, but I can't. I don't think it's worth changing the hitbox. Ripla says, when are you coming over to Argentina so I can give you a comically large hug? That's very sweet, Ripla. I don't know when I would ever possibly be coming to Argentina, but if I ever do, I will keep you in mind. Thank you very nice. Thank you very much. I was reading the next question and said nice. My brain crossed wires. Isid says, was there any thought about giving everyone both an entry jump and a second jump option? No. Maybe for a brief second I thought about it, but I think most of the other characters wouldn't get anything out of an empty jump. The only ones that really do are Pork and Onions was useful because it wasn't just an empty jump, it was a fast fall. It actually went way faster, but a pure empty jump feels way too niche for most characters. There's a reason why the jump attack always comes out as part of the design. And I'll make the exception for Pork as an opt-in move because it synergizes with their kit. Paul cereal tier list? No, I'm not answering that. Is the soap still available to buy online? I believe so. If you want to reach out to the Smasher Soap people, I wouldn't see why not. But I don't know. But when we met up with them at Combo Breaker, they just gave us a bunch of stock. So that's the stuff that we have in a suitcase that we'll be able to sell in person. But I don't know how much they have in a warehouse versus how much they produce on demand. So I don't know what their sales look like. Change the like button to love button. Milk before cereal or cereal before milk. I'm going to out myself as an absolute psychopath right now, ICL. I ate cereal dry. Please continue to play my game. Grum gave gift subs. Lots of popping off. Paul parried my distract attempt. Ask about Elden Ring. He said, careful. Handsome Phil asked, Paul, ST sometime later this week? Hopefully. That'd be nice, Phil. Kenny says, just calling a throw button is intuitive because you can burst, push block, etc. Yeah, just do back throw to push block. That is true. It would be nice if it was a little more generic. But again, I'm happy from like just a very intro level, having called the throw button for teaching the game is useful, but fair point. Sir Munculus asked Paul, where's my grappler jump? Like a jump that grabs? That sounds horrid. Wilton says, thoughts on DNF Duel? The footage I've watched looks hilarious. I haven't had a chance to play it because I was traveling all of last week. I've just been busy, but I'd like to pick it up. Kenny says, now that we have a new button, does that mean we can have more moves to fill it forward heavy or something? Maybe super long-term, Kenny, but there is no current plans to add more moves to characters or more new animation to characters specifically. We still have enough of a backfill of animation to do. That's part of why I'm trying to create all these jump cancels using existing animation. That is not a plentiful resource right now. And I don't really have like an amazing alternate heavy idea, you know, burning a hole in my pocket, as they say, for the meats. So it's there if we need it. It's there for modders, but not planning on using that real estate just yet. Frigate says, make the buttons Waseda. I was thinking about that. Since we're already changing everything, now might be a good chance to change it to Waseda, because I got a lot of feedback about that all the time. But then I didn't want to, you know, just change it all willy-nilly in month 2 for all the people who had already gotten used to SD. But I think people are right. People expect Waseda. That's me showing my, you know, fact that I don't really play PC games. I'm open to doing that. Why is left A in the first place? Asked Nedgerman, because that was comfortable for me. Blue Icy. PAX is the first week of September. You can check the PAX website, PAX West, or you can check our event page at abouts.toughlove.com/events. Kenny asks, any Pepper updates? Pepper's doing good. Staying stinky. Staying furry. Good Pep. Table Rice says, how do you map your throw RC reject button? That is not currently mappable by users, but it is something that you could change for a character mod. But right now, it's just the throw button. Kung Fu Cop 1 says, wait, why can beef do spike before lemon? That covers a lot of options. I see that spike hitbox there. You might just be confused. There shouldn't be any hitbox there. It should just be, or if there is, that was an accident. I'm just reusing the animation. So if there is a hitbox, ignore it. Table Rice says you gotta adjust your whole muscle memory around it. Yeah, that is true. I've been struggling with that. That will be a learning curve for everyone, unfortunately, but I'm pretty convinced that this is a good direction to take the game in general, so I'm willing to risk it. Oh, Amy says in regards to Pepper, the other day I gave him a brushing so good, he just flopped over on the hardwood floor and laid down. I didn't know that, Amy. That's sick. Frog jump is toxic. People are reacting to the little demo I did. Yeah, foot dive. Yeah, the drill. It's meant to be the Rice dive kick is very much inspired by Dulcim drill. Yep, Zoe calls it. And he said Dulcim over time. Oh, Dulcim. Okay, lots of people got it. Urgent Rocket asks, how does the animation art translate to TypeScript? The animation, it's just a series of PNGs. You can see it if you go into extras, advanced extras, like debug reference, I think is what it's called now. We renamed it a couple times. But it's just a bunch of PNGs. And in TypeScript, I basically model a virtual world, that a virtual game screen that is like 10,000 units wide. Characters exist at coordinates. And then when it comes time to render, I scale that world down to the resolution of your browser, and then I draw the PNG using some math of like, okay, Beef's center position is here, and I know their height right now is this, so I will start up here and draw the PNG down. So the art doesn't translate to TypeScript per se, but the TypeScript powers an engine that knows an idea of where the characters are, and then just draws the PNGs to reflect the logic underneath. Snadgerman asks, will the card boss be called Classified Carb? That is a cute name. Still not 100% sure on the carb name. Impasta. It would unfortunately break our alliterative pattern, but that's pretty tempting. Ripple. Who said it? Kenny. Impasta. Ripple said impossible. Impasta. Sus soup. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Amy's shaming me out here, saying that Paul drinks cereal from the box like it's a bottle. Sir Monculus says, have you ever considered to make caber combo on hit give pork more combo variety? I have to be careful because when you say combo variety, I actually think right now it does a decent job of giving combo variety, because you have to make a hard choice of like, do you want damage, in which case, okay, you can do a couple hits and end with like spike, or do you want a knockdown, in which case you have to go into chop, which takes time, so you get less hits in. If we gave a bigger juggle, to me that's less of creativity and more of just like there will be a better optimized version that covers more bases, and we have to be careful about how much damage it lets pork players do. So it is a balancing act. Call it the trick button. Ooh. Table says, Paul, could you test if the current carb 5L can anti-air sneak without the carb moving back? That is a good point, Table Rice. Can you put that... put it in feature requests or something? Because that just reminds me, I'm thinking about just bringing sneak in a little bit anyways. Bringing it a little bit closer. So that might be good. Good catch. But again, I'll get to that after the throw change. So that's still a week plus out. Percival Wright asks, have you had any volunteers help you code? No. The game has been 100% me on the coding front and 100% Amy on the art front. We contract our music out to Josie and M. Guare. Josie Breckner, also known as Visitor, and M. Guare. I got a couple of very nice and generous offers in the first month of people DMing me on Twitter, like offering their help, but I very much wanted to keep it tight. This was a passion project. I enjoyed the process of owning everything and understanding and misremembering how everything worked. It's a very slow way of making something, but it was indulgent and it was fun. ESID has a question for Amy. Have you had any... how long does it take to do the event skins? And Amy might answer that at some time. I'm not sure. Kenny says, I think Paul uses semicolon for it now in the previous clips. Yeah, it's currently semicolon, but I'm not married to that. Table Rice says, will the event skins be available sometime later? The current plan, well, one, you can buy Steam. If you buy the Steam release, you can use all the skins. And two, we are planning to probably reuse them. So when we do we are going to do a Halloween official tournament this year, and it'll probably be the same skins. so you can re-enter to get another single skin. Amy is answering how long does it take to do event skins, and they say, I want to say 3 sittings for event skins. I think that is very modest of Amy. Those are 3 very long sittings. Icy asks, why don't you like milk with your cereal? Do you just not like milk? That's it. I just don't like milk. Milk makes me nauseous. Just makes me sick. Percival asks, I know JavaScript and a few other languages. I was just curious. Seems like a very cool project. Oh, nice. Yeah, they're having a little side conversation about that. Cool. Amy definitely loves pepper more. Kenny Rose. I love pepper a lot more than I used to. I've definitely warmed up to the little fur ball. But no, pepper is definitely Amy's cat. Kenny says, how fast is rice jump cancel? Would it be something to avoid lemons in neutral? That would be cool, but I can't say. Still very whip. I'm not going to bother bringing it up because it could very well change the very next time I look at it. Acid says, any plans to let us reject whenever we want now? Like, do reject in neutral? No, I still want to keep it as like an alpha counter type move. And in fact, now that we have more input space, I'm planning to change it to forward special, which is forward T, as opposed to, it used to be back light. Amy says, Paul, someone asked if we can add spooky to the list of username prefixes. Sure, please put that in feature request. February says, grapplers do not need combo variety. You are not comboing to begin with, you are grappling. Kenny says, this is kind of a specifically serious question. Is there a system in place that account numbers aren't sus? That, no. That is a very good point. Can you add that to feature requests? I'd have to think about how it would affect existing accounts, but I'd be happy to make a change like that going forward. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, Kenny. Good call out. Charge says, Paul, if someone already made top 8 at an event, what would happen? They would get a pat on the back. Kenny asks, is Paul an oat milk enjoyer? No, Paul is just a no milk enjoyer. A milk unenjoyer. A milk hater. Paul doesn't... Okay, we're getting too much lore out here. This looks like I ran out of chat, ran out of questions. Looks like the stream is ending. Oh no, what's that? Oh, OBS is crashing. Oh no. Kenny, I do not drink coffee. Just never got into it. Didn't like the taste. And I think Amy used to drink coffee, but has kicked it. Charge, I don't think I would do the thing. Like, we try to do it with the premium accounts that, like, yeah, if First Story has it, it'll pass down to second. I don't think I would bother figuring that out for the skins. So there would be a little bit of gatekeeping involved. But, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's a couple months away. Okay. Can we add Morbius to the spooky Morbius? Spicy Morbius. That will be my sound cue. If you get a double perfect, I'll say it's Morbin time. No. We already have dabs. I don't want to date the game anymore. Morbius. Okay. This has been fun as always. Thank you everyone for stopping by the State of the Game. I like doing these streams. It's really good to talk to people. It's really good to get Q&As. Lots of good suggestions and call-outs here. And yeah, the first Monday of August might be overlapping with EVO. We'll figure that out. So the next one of these will either be in like 2 weeks or 6 weeks or something. But thank you as always for playing the game. And you can see me in the Discord. Just take game live from EVO. I thought about that, Amy. I just don't think I have like strong enough equipment. I don't want to like pack the stream PC. Maybe if I'm not running anything, like not running any code, if it's just like streaming a camera, maybe I can do that on my laptop. Maybe I could do it on my work laptop. That's a lot stronger. Ooh. All right. Peace out.